Join the team.
Hey, it's the McGuire Review, and we're going to take a look at Paizo's new Starfinder Tech Revolution book. This has been a book that's been recently released, and if you are into Starfinder, this, in my opinion, is pretty much a must-have book. There's a lot of different books you can get that build out character, lore, build out background of the universe. There's one they recently did that's all about the galaxy and things you can find in the galaxy, but this one is specific on the tech, and tech is a big part of the Starfinder universe. So there's a number of things you're going to find in this book, but you'll be able to see as we go through this with the overview cam, some of the stuff that you will find, some of the artwork, and some of the cool stuff that's in the Tech Revolution book. But there are a number of things that we're going to see, so let's go ahead and get right into it. This one is just a really exciting book. And you do have some awesome artwork right off the bat with one of the mechs. That's something that's new in this, is a new stuff around mech control. You literally can take control of full-scale mechs and go head-to-head battle, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so there is going to be a brand new character class or archetype that is in here, and it has to do with, it's called the Nanocyte, and it's like your body is made up of like bunches of these little nanobites, and they actually can protect you and help you do combat and battle. So that's a pretty unique, pretty cool setup here that we have. And then it gets into the classes within the book, where it's going to give you some new stuff, and it's going to build out on what already exists today. Okay, so that's the first part of this, the classes. And you do have a nice little tabbed kind of system here to go through the different areas that are going to be included. So that's going to be the classes. The next is going to be your equipment. So now you're going to get a bunch of new equipment. Anytime you play these types of games and you have a ton of new equipment, that's something that's pretty awesome. Sometimes it provides this feeling of going back to a certain, shopping location, because all of a sudden now there's a new store that opens up. And that's what can be kind of fun from a GM perspective. It's like if the players go back to a certain point that has, merchants and shopping, you can say, hey, while you're here, you notice that there was a brand new store that opened. And this store has carrying things that like you've never seen before. And it's just more of like, okay, well, let's go in. Like, what's there? What do we find? So that can offer a lot of fun when you're building that story out for your players. And you'll find that here with new stores and manufacturers. And there's a ton of new equipment. Each one of these sections of this book, because again, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections in this book. So each one of these sections is a pretty good size. So that's what you'll find here for equipment. Number of things. And then the third part is your vehicles. So there's all new rules for custom vehicles that are included as well. And these are all kinds of different vehicles. Vehicles that you might just sort of small suit kind of get into. Vehicles that are air-based. Vehicles that are land-based. Vehicles that are space-based. We've got all kinds of different types of vehicles that are included in here in the custom vehicles setup. And then the glorious mechs. And the mechs part of the book is a decent chunk to go over how all this mech combat and these mech battles are going to work. So it's going to list out how to design the mech encounters, how to build the mechs. You're going to have artwork here of what the mechs look like and the different parts and components of a mech. There's a number of things here that you can use in building them and customizing them. And then you're going to be given some stat blocks to go over the different types of mechs that you can come up with, like the Juggernaut, a Leviathan, the Charger, the Legionnaire. I mean, it's so cool. And this continues to go on and on of different types of setups. Then we've got the recon frames, transport frames, lower limbs, upper limbs. So there's different components that you can build and design when you're customizing the type of mech that you want for the scenario. This is cool, okay? This is cool. I can only imagine what people are going to be able to do with all of these new rules and all of this stuff. So awesome. The mech combat battles to come. And then there's even mechs like the Xeno Warden mechs here, where it's almost like a living tree inside of like a walking technology kind of mech there. So you're going to have stuff like that as well that's going to be included, which I thought this was an interesting one. That was pretty cool. That was part of the actual types of mechs that you can interact with. All right, that's all the mech stuff. And then the last section of the book is going to be a galaxy of tech. Now, this is going to get more into the lore side of things. Now, there may be some things you'll find sporadic throughout here that you can pull out, but it's really more about the lore to the tech. So for instance, like I thought this was interesting, media. How does the technology of media work? Well, you got films, you got reality, sports, news. There's lore on kind of how that works within Starfinder. Infospheres, we've got food technology, domestic technology, energy production, body modification, comm units, advertisements, biotech. There's so much here that gives you, there's about a page and a half for each one of these, sometimes a little bit more, gives you that lore and that background. Music, I thought that was pretty cool. That gives you that background on that. I thought another thing that was pretty neat was there's some items about security and how security tech works. That's very important. There's a lot of instances when you go into environments where security plays a role. Now you got some more lore and background on exactly how to execute on that. If you want to, right? That's the beauty to these RPGs. You dive as deep as you want, but that's up to you, right? You can just say, oh, there's a security system. Okay, somebody tried to hack it. Okay, you hacked it, right? Or you failed. Or you can get into, what type of security system is that? How does it get hacked? Like, what's the code required? I mean, you can go as deep as you want to go, and that's why they provide this content. It's kind of a structure and a set of things that you can use however you want as a creative GM. I also like the fact that they had obsolete tech here. So now you can get into some scenarios where you make possibly technology that your players already have become obsolete, or they could potentially find technology on their travels that is an obsolete technology that maybe is super powerful that they need to be able to modify to be able to achieve the tasks they have at hand. So very cool. Shipping and delivery, software. I mean, it just goes on and on with the different types of technology and the lore to those vid games. Nice. There was a class in a recent book that got into vid games. So now we got some more vid game lore. All right. That's as far as I'm gonna go. Again, Starfinder Tech Revolution is this new book. I highly recommend this specific book. Again, there's a lot of content that's coming out of Paizo for the IPs that they're over right now. And there's just a lot out there that you could purchase. And you got to be able to spend your money wisely. And what do you get and what do you not get? And that may be very much dictated on how much extra cash you have on hand. And most of the time, it is. So if you had to choose between a few different newer books, I really do recommend the Tech Revolution book because it gives all of that extra behind-the-scenes stuff, specifically for a GM, that you can add a lot. There's a big bang for your buck, I feel like, in this book, especially because it comes with all the new mech stuff that you can do a lot with. Okay? Starfinder, Tech Revolution. Hit that like, hit the subscribe below to join the team. Keep rolling them crits. This has been the McGuire Review. See you next time.